The following is a special presentation of the First Horizon Green Sports Zone. This is the Pizza Inn Brad Woolsey Show. Welcome back to First Horizon's Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pizza Inn Brad Woolsey Show, where we cover everything on the court inside of Hal Henner Gymnasium with the Greeneville Green Devils basketball team. We'll recap the past two games with Granger and Cherokee, and then look ahead and see who the Green Devils have to finish up the regular season. But first, we need to get a quick break in first, so join us right after this commercial break here on First Horizon's Green Sports Zone. The Pizza Inn Brad Woolsey Show is brought to you by Gateway Ford Nissan, Tommy's Plumbing, Pizza Inn, and by First Horizon Bank.
Here's a twist on your typical banking options. What if instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you had one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon. Big bank muscle with small bank hustle. Big bank convenience and small bank connection. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank.
Welcome back to First Horizon's Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pizza Inn Brad Woolsey Show, where we cover everything on the hardwood with the Greeneville Green Devils basketball team. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Brad Woolsey. Coach, how's it going?
Good. How are you, Tyler?
I'm good. It's been a long time since we've sat down.
Yeah,
I think it's been
has.
2 weeks. Got a lot more snow than I think anybody expected.
Yeah, it definitely. I thought it was coming that time. I didn't know that 10 inches was going to be the call for those days. But yeah, it was wild. Definitely changed things a lot for everybody. It's got everybody behind in games, losing games. So it was wild. Now we got this new setup
We
here.
do.
It's a little different, but
More comfy.
More comfy.
I like the couch.
Yeah.
I like the table. I like without a table. We've had multiple different setups this year.
Yeah.
We went in your office once earlier this year too.
It's been pretty diverse.
It's nice to switch it up a little bit. I like doing that in the shows. I think a lot. I don't know if people watch it more when they see new settings, but it looks better whenever you're scrolling through the playlist and you see different settings.
Right.
Yeah, instead of just the same thing every time. But that's definitely the most snow I've ever seen in my lifetime so far.
Yeah, no, 93. That was the most I think that I'd seen, and that's the most. This weekend or that weekend was the most that I'd seen since then. So I don't like the mess. It messes up our schedule so much, and I hate that. But then there's part of you that just appreciates the beauty of it, and you appreciate the chance that your kids have to enjoy that personally. My kids having a chance to enjoy that, and because it's unique, and it's always just kind of a part of growing up. So while it did mess us up, there were some good parts to it too.
It's cool that the kids got to experience that because they've never had a huge snow like that. Growing up, I've had a few 6-inch snows. I think 8 might have been the most I'd seen before that. Right. So it's cool that they got to see something like that. And I mean, I have a husky, so it was cool to see a husky actually feel like a husky for once, instead of living in Tennessee where he's burning up every time he steps outside. He actually felt like a husky for once.
Well, that's good. You get those guys away from the swimming pools and stuff and get them in their natural environment. They probably feel a lot more at home. So I'm glad your dog had a chance to get some therapy there. And, hopefully it makes an impact on him.
It did for sure. It's the happiest I've seen him in a long time. But what was cool about it too is I enjoyed the post that we made on Facebook asking people to submit their own pictures. And it was cool to see the different amounts of snow that everybody got in different areas. Of course, here in town, you'd have 8 to 10 inches out in West Green. I had 11.5 on my back patio table. And then some areas in South Green, you had over a foot. So it was cool to see how much snow people got in different areas, because it's not just – people forget how big Greene County is.
Yeah, second biggest state, I guess, in the state.
I think it is,
second biggest county in the state, I think, land-wise, I think. There's a lot of diversity in landscapes and stuff, which makes a difference in terms of that snowfall. So it
was pretty awesome to see. But after about 3 days, I got tired of it, though, because you get cramped in the house, games continue to get canceled. No coaches shows, no school, so it got pretty boring. But after Thursday, everybody kind of got things rolling. Friday, you finally got to play again after, I believe, over a week off, and you play with Granger here at home. Unfortunately, resulted in a 62-59 loss at the end of the fourth quarter. But take me through that entire game that you played against Granger.
We played okay against Granger. We really, honestly, we weren't connected early on. As I just kind of replay this stuff in my mind, I can remember we hadn't practiced. We didn't practice the day before, and had only had a couple practices in a 10-day period. And so we were just kind of trying to let the guys get their footing at the beginning of the game, and then just kind of realized, all right, we're not going to get our footing. And so we called a timeout and tried to just emphasize some things, I'll say, to try and help us understand what it's going to take to win. And, I felt like responded there. Then we kind of waned a little bit again at the end of the second quarter, and had another discussion at halftime, just again emphasizing the importance of togetherness and playing hard. And, those are just the two, like, emotions, playing hard, effort. Those are all things that if you do those, if you keep those things in check, like, the rest of the game just becomes easier. It's never going to be easy, but it becomes easier. And when, your emotions aren't in check, when effort kind of comes and goes, when attention to detail kind of comes and goes, you really struggle. And that's kind of where we were for a lot of that game. And even, into the second half, we still just kind of, we got some better, but there were some cases where I think our offensive struggles, like, we came out in the second half and I thought our defensive intensity was better. I thought there were some good things that we were doing, but we went about 3 or 4 straight possessions right off the bat and didn't score, couldn't put it in the basket. And I think that, again, that emotional part, your emotions start to become depressed, and then your play becomes a little depressed. And we put ourselves again in position to win that game. And, there are just things down the stretch. And I think this has kind of been a theme for a lot of the year. We're in position to win games, but then, we hadn't finished well. And so, when you think about, well, what is the reason for that? Well, I think the first thing you look at is, well, should you have been in that position in the first place, or should you have been able to put some distance between you and the other team? And so that's always going to be the first question. And the second question is, what do we need to do as a team to be better executing down the stretch? And so we got to be better down the stretch. And I think another huge factor was we gave up 9 points on baseline out of bounds plays. And
wow.
That's 3 threes, and 2 of which were simply a guy going from the block out to the wing and just caught it and shot it. And so when you give up 9 points on baseline out of bounds, you had better be exceptional in every other facet in the game, and we weren't. And so, we got to come back and had to come back and just try and be better. We got up Saturday morning, practiced, and tried to kind of wash that out and get prepared for the next one.
And do you think that the time off affected both teams? Because I know you said it affected you all, but did you notice that at the beginning of the game where Granger probably wasn't able to practice and hadn't had a game in a week also? Did you see a lot of rust from both teams whenever you both took the floor?
Granger had actually practiced, and they had played the night before. So
really?
They played on Thursday night. They had lost on a buzzer beater to Cherokee, so they had just played the previous night. And so, I didn't really notice much rust from them. And it's hard to tell because the first time we played them, number 1, who was their leading scorer that night, did not play the first game. And so, it's kind of hard to put your finger on exactly where they were at when we hadn't played them when he was playing. And
right.
So, but they competed. What was impressive about them is they had such a heartbreaking loss the night before, and they came back the next night and played well and shot the ball really well and got the win.
And then you move into this week's action where you start the week with Cherokee in An absolute barn burner of a game up there in Rogersville. It didn't go your way, 66-62 in overtime, but a terrific game for everybody in attendance. Just disappointed about the result of that one, but give me your thoughts on that Cherokee game. I know you struggle to fight from behind in the first half. You get that lead in the second half. Then it was just a swing of momentum there in the fourth quarter and overtime. Take me through that one.
Yeah, so the first half, we weren't just awful defensively. I think they were shooting in the 30s in the first half, but offensively we just really struggled. Some things that kind of affected us again were just some turnovers, and then also just us not getting the ball moving. And when we don't move the ball well, it just becomes teams become easier to guard because everybody can load up, and if the ball's not moving, then they see the guy with the ball. Everybody's shifted in position, and now they're just waiting on you to make the next move. And so we didn't move the ball well, which I think contributed to our struggles offensively. I think we scored 16 in the first half offensively, right. So it was really a poor offensive half for sure. At halftime, and another thing that's kind of like emotionally, again, emotions play such a big part, not just in basketball, but just in life, and being able to control those, to being able to use them for your good, being able to use them for the good of your team and then obviously when you get later in life, using it for the good of your family, all those things. I feel like emotionally, there were just some places that maybe we weren't very good, and it's really hard when things are going bad. It really tests you emotionally, and I think one of the great things just about athletics in general, in terms of just why athletics can be really good and can be really important, is because it puts you in positions that maybe in the normal day-to-day student life you're not going to be in unless you're an athlete. And it puts you in position of being under high pressure situations. It puts you in position of depending on others depending on you. And so, we've got to do a better job emotionally, and we've made progress in some places. But when you can't put your head down, you can't, because you kind of get into self, and the
rubs off on others.
It rubs off on everybody else, and and I can see it even in my stuff, in my actions, just going to rub off. And so it's not just going to be players, but it's also going to be coaches. It's all of us together that have to work towards solutions there. But yeah, that first half we were pretty bad offensively. At halftime, we just came in and talked, and it wasn't a fire speech at halftime. It was, this is your all's game, and your response and your connectedness to each other is going to dictate how this thing goes. And so the ball's really in your court in terms of how the rest of it's going to go. And then they come out and respond, and like you said, it was a game of runs, where we scored maybe 6 straight, they'd score 6 straight, just a lot of back and forth. But one of the things we've emphasized consistently, and like when you emphasize stuff, you want to get better at it. Mm-hmm. But one of the things we haven't gotten better at, that we've emphasized or try to emphasize, is just understanding what kind of defensive team we want to be, and that's a team that is solid, that doesn't take bad gambles, because when you gamble, there's 2 reasons that you're going to gamble. One, maybe you think you're going to make a play. Number 2, you might have already gotten beat, and so then you're going to make one more gamble, and one mistake can turn into 2, and it gets into a snowball type deal. But we want to be solid defensively, stay in front of people, make people take tough shots, and then go rebound the basketball. And in terms of what we got to get better at, and ultimately probably what cost us down the stretch were some gambles on defense, where I can remember one time that we gave up a 3 because we gambled. We put people on the free throw line because we gambled. And so when you do that, you know, those things are hard to overcome. And but Zai made a great shot at the end of regulation to get us into overtime. You know, we had tried to do 2 or 3 different things. Nothing worked. And
fortunate to have those timeouts still.
Yeah.
Also, you had 2 in your pocket and you had to call both.
Yeah, and that's you know, and that coming down the stretch, you know, we were having that discussion because we had actually had a group of guys on the floor for a very long time without any subs, and I'd burned one time out to try and just give them a rest, and then it was like, do I call another one or do I save them? And it was just, man, this thing is so close, I just want to save it. And so we saved them, which gave us opportunity to get those shots off. And of course, I had great awareness there, because he got tapped around and came to him, or he went and got it and just got it up.
Fortunate too, because one thing that I thought about when it happened is when it gets tipped up, him and Taryn both go for it. Well, if both come down with it, that's a turnover. Yeah. So very fortunate that Zai was able to get possession and Taryn kind of backed off and let him have it, because for the split second when they're both going for it, I'm thinking this could not end well.
Right. And I think, you know, probably Taryn pulled, because I mean, he's got, like, Taryn really, like, I think he really gets stuff. I mean, he picks up on things pretty quick, and I imagine he knows Zai's facing the basket, I'm not, so I've got to let Zai have it. And you know, Zai put the shot in. But even kind of before that, you know, we were up 6, and this is just, again, kind of a theme. We're up 6 with maybe a minute and a half left, and, you know, end up, I think, going behind, or maybe 6 with 2 minutes left, and went behind because of turnovers reared their head, and you know, we can't turn the ball. You can't turn the ball over down the stretch, and so we've all got to just figure out how can we as a team, coaches, players, everybody, figure out a way to get better in that aspect.
And moving forward now, you've got 2 games left. You've got, of course, one more with Volunteer tomorrow night that wraps up your District 2 3A schedule, and then your final one will be a non-conference game with Dobbins-Bennett on Tuesday. We'll preview both of those games right after this break, so stick with us. We'll touch on both of those here on First Horizon's Green Sports Zone.
Here's a twist on your typical banking options. What if instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you had one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon. Big bank muscle with small bank hustle. Big bank convenience and small bank connection. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank.
Pizza Inn presents I Ate at Pizza Inn. I ate pizza at Pizza Inn. I ate a salad at Pizza Inn.
I ate pizza!
I ate it all.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and I'm inviting you to come and enjoy Greeneville's favorite hometown pizza, pasta, salad, and dessert buffet for just $8 all day, Monday through Friday. And then you can say,
we all ate at Pizza Inn.
For over 30 years, Tommy's Plumbing has proudly served the Tri-Cities with a personal touch, because we're not just plumbers, we're family. From simple faucet repairs to full plumbing repiping, we have the experience and expertise to get the job done right. We also specialize in water heater and tankless water heater installations, helping you find the perfect solution for your home. Our technicians stand behind their work and always leave your space clean and spotless. Looking for a plumber who's fast, professional, and reliable? Call Tommy's Plumbing and let our family take care of yours.
At many dealerships, you get what you'd expect. Games, gimmicks, and shady sales tactics. At Gateway Nissan in Greeneville, expect the unexpected. Low prices, convenient service, and a great buying experience.
Get our Gateway exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty.
No worries for life.
You deserve the unexpected. It's the #1 reason you gotta get to Gateway.
Shop online at gatewaynissangreeneville.com.
Or take the super short drive down Highway 11E to Gateway Nissan in Greeneville.
Welcome back to First Horizon's Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pizza and Brad Woolsey Show, where we cover everything on the court with the Greenville Green Devils basketball team. As always, I'm joined here with Greenville head coach Brad Woolsey. So you got 2 games left this season. You got the first one this Friday night on the road over in Churchill, visiting Volunteer, a team that beat you in your own gym earlier this year, looking to finish District 2 3A your District 2 3A schedule with a win. What's it going to take to get it done against Volunteer?
You know, Volunteer is a team that, you know, they've had some really good games, and then they've had some tough games. You know, I know that They were leading the conference early, and then I think they lost 2 or 3 out of their last 4, maybe, something like that. And so Granger beat them the other night again. And the Jones kid, their guy that scores 22 a game, I think he only played like 5 minutes in that game because he had a little bit of injury. When I saw him on the film, he looked okay. So I expect him to be full force on Friday. But they've got a great inside-outside combination. They've got 2 kids inside that can really score the ball. They've got kids on the outside that shoot it well. I mean, when you look at pieces, when you look at some quickness, when you look at some size, when you look at the ability to shoot the ball, they've really got a lot of pieces. And so for us, the biggest things we've got to do is just continue to try and be solid defensively, continue to try and be connected defensively. Because if we're those 2 things, we're going to give ourselves a chance. If we just kind of get to a point where everybody's kind of playing their own playbook, where, I'm gonna gamble here, and I'm gonna, when we do those things, it's kind of like the real gambling. There's places you go gamble not because you're going to win all the time, but the house is going to win. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the house ain't going to continue to gamble when they're not winning the money.
That's why they can afford to stay open.
That's how they stay open. And so, anyway, while gambling can seem to pay off, and it's probably why it's addictive too, while it can tend to pay off, generally in the long term, it's not. And so, just for our kids, what we've been trying to emphasize is that, like, obviously, there are going to be points in the game where you might, but when it's consistent that we're not staying in front of the ball, then it becomes problematic. And so we got to make sure we do a great job of staying in front of the ball, contest their threes, and then box out. And offensively, we got to get the ball moving. We got to move the ball and get it side to side, and then get it downhill. We got to get some paint touches. We got to get paint 2s, and then obviously be ready for the kickouts from the 3.
And then moving into Tuesday night with Dobyns-Bennett, final game of the regular season. It'll be senior night in Hal Henner Gymnasium. Talk about Dobyns-Bennett on Tuesday night and what you can expect in your regular season finale.
Yeah, I mean, DB is a really good team. They're a really good team. They're 22-7. I think maybe they got beat 2 nights ago by Morristown West. I think Morristown West may have got them at Morristown West. But they're the top team in 4A region, or in 4A District 1, and so they're a really deep team. They've got shooters. They've got again. They've kind of got the whole package in terms of size, athleticism, shooting. They've got a little bit of everything. They don't have size like 6'7" size, but they've got 6'3", probably 6'4", something like that they throw out there. But just a highly skilled team that'll play hard, and it'll be a tough matchup for us.
And it's crazy that we're already at the end of the season now, where we're talking about senior night and wrapping up the regular season. It's gone by pretty quick.
It has. It's hard to believe. I think the snow kind of made it hit fast forward almost as far as the season goes. It's like we were, you
had so much time off that you had less time in the actual season, like the amount of days that you would spend in a gym, it was less. So it feels like the season's gone by quicker, but it's of course still the same amount of time.
Yeah, and it was 2 straight weeks. It was basically 2 straight weeks of this kind of randomness, and I think that definitely impacted not only us, but it impacts everybody. Yeah, it's hard to believe, that Willie and Ryan are both kind of, they're knocking on the door, their last regular season home game. I think anytime you come into a game, it's about the team and it's about winning. But obviously we want to do a great job of honoring our seniors and just how hard they work. And I know we'll probably talk a little bit about them later, but from a player perspective, the things that you can really say about Ryan and Willie, like their hearts are really right, just in terms of just trying to do the right thing trying to get the team to do the right thing, finding places to encourage, and they're not the only ones, but finding places to encourage, finding places to hold accountable. They're guys that have just done an unbelievable job and have also, they experienced a lot of change, in who they were playing with, and they've experienced so much change, but they've also exhibited a ton of resilience and joy in the midst of, not that there's not hard times where it's like, oh my goodness, but just they've exhibited a lot of joy in the midst of hard times. And I think when you look back, and obviously I'm thinking about it for my own kid, in addition to just Ryan, but you really hope that they take away from the game and they take away from athletics, not just memories, but an attitude, a heart that can handle really tough things, and that they can look back on it and remember, you know what, I went through something like this. It's not like exactly, I went through something like this that was really, really hard, and this is how I handled it. And these are some of the lessons that I learned, and these are some of the things that I did well that I want to do well again, because throughout your life, you're going to be playing on a team, like you're not going to be playing per se, but you're going to be on a team, whether that's in your job, whether that's in your home. There's always going to be team stuff. There's always going to be times where you're going to have an impact on somebody else. There's going to be somebody else relying on you. You're going to be relying on somebody else, and just understanding ways to best leverage, I guess you'd say, who you are and your experiences for the good of others first, and then yourself. And so just really hope that that's the things that they take away ultimately from their experience in playing it. I hope they enjoy, and I think they do. They've got to even, come back yesterday, and we just had so much joy in the gym. Like bad loss, tough loss, but we had so much joy in the gym that, man, it was a fun and it was a great practice yesterday.
It's crazy that senior night's already here.
Yeah, it's here. It'll be Tuesday night, looks like, and come out, honor these guys and these girls that have given to our school and to each other. And, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have the opportunity to watch them on Tuesday night, you've got Friday night also, just a short trip over to Churchill to watch Greeneville play Volunteer on Friday night, and then of course senior night on Tuesday night here at home against Dobbins-Bennett. And hey, after Tuesday night's over with, if you're still hungry, you know where to head to.
Oh yeah,
Pizza Inn. You got everything you can ask for: pizza, pasta, salad, desserts, anything you could want at Pizza Inn. But I believe that's all we've got this week, unless there's anything you've got to add.
That's got it.
Hey, it's good to finally be back after all that snow last week.
It is.
It was crazy. I think the last one we had done was on January 28th, and here we are now on, I believe this is February 12th. So yeah, 15 long days between coaches' shows. So it's glad to finally be back.
I just want to say happy Valentine's Day to my wife, because that's coming up. So Melissa, happy Valentine's Day. Love you.
Hey, happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. Hope everybody gets to celebrate on Saturday. Not many games on Saturday too, so Valentine's Day fell on the perfect day this year where everybody could go out. I'm sure all the local businesses will be happy about that also.
Oh yeah.
But Coach, that's all I got this week.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Pizza Inn Brad Woolsey Show. Look forward to seeing you next time here on First Horizons Green Sports Zone.